All right, guys, the last of our videos for the week. And our last homework of this just hodgepodge section. So remember that we would do 64 inside the radical. And whatever your base is, in this case is 3. And then we would square it if possible. Okay, so when I think of the cube roots of 64, I actually know that is 4. 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. So the cube root of 64 would be 4. And then remember that I have to square that. So my answer would be 16. So keep your perfect square list. Handy. Keep that perfect square list handy. And perfect cube list as well. Perfect square and perfect cube list. Okay, same thing here. I would rad 81 would go in here, and this would be to the 4th root. So that's one that we haven't done quite yet. And when I'm all done with that, I would square it. So what we don't know is what times itself 4 times is 81. Well, I'm just going to let you know that 3 times 3 times 3 would be 81. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 times 3 is 81. So we have 4 3s. So that would come out. It would be 3. And then you would need to square it, which would be, not square it. This is a 3. You would need to cube it. And 3 cubed would be 27. Okay, well now we have the bigger fish to fry. We have 36. X is going to go in the radical. And remember, the denominator comes out here, so 2, and then it's raised to the first. So I'm going to break those apart like I did before. So 36, the square root of 36, and the square root of x. Well, I know that the square root of 36 is simply 6. All right, and then the square root of x, well, I take whatever is there, divide it by 2. Well, you can't do 1 divided by 2. That would be 0, remainder 1. And so x is going to have to stay in its radical. So your answer would simply be 6 rad x. Okay, now we've got a doozy here. And I'm going to just go ahead and write this broken apart for you. All right, so I'm going to do the cube root of 125 times the cube root of x to the 7th times the cube root of y to the 4th. Well, the cube root of 125 is 5. So I know that this is going to be 5. Right, this I'm going to do 7 divided by 3, which is going to be 2, remainder 1. So I'm going to have an x squared with 1x left inside. And then this is going to be 4 divided by 3, which would be 1 remainder 1, which means that I can have 1y come out and 1y left over. So I'll multiply what's on the outside, the 5, the x, and the y, and I'll get 5x squared y. And remember, these are all to the cube root. So cube root and what is ever left over. So an x and a y would be left over. And that would be our answer. And then here, I've got to get rid of this rad 6. So I'll multiply both the top and bottom by rad 6. And I'll end up with 3 rad 12 over 6. And then, I guess I could have reduced there. Oh, well. Okay, so then I can reduce, let's reduce our rad 12. So we're going to reduce 12, rad 12, which is going to be the perfect square that goes into that is 4, 2 and 2, and 3. So this would reduce to 3 times 2 rad 3 all over 6. which is technically 6 rad 3 over 6. These 6's would cancel out, and my answer would be rad 3. Hopefully that was helpful for this night's homework. And again, reach out if you have questions. Come to office hours Tuesdays from 12:30 to 1. And I don't know, talk to me. I have no idea what's going on in your guys' lives. But I hope you guys are doing good and staying productive. I know it's easy to get lazy right now. All right, guys, bye.